everyone, Simplified Education welcomes you all on this platform where you can do the preparation of UGC NET and various other teaching exam also. You can join our Telegram channel and Facebook page with the link given below into the description box. And if you understand my teaching, please subscribe my channel so that you will be notified with my upcoming videos. As you all know, we are dealing with the research aptitude. It comes from UGC NET and SET exam paper 1. This is unit 2. In this video, we are going to study the new topic, that is research ethics. This is the last topic of the research aptitude. So after this, we will be dealing with the multiple choice questions based on the research aptitude. So please stay with us. When we are saying research ethics, we should know the exact meaning of the ethics. What is the meaning of ethics? The term ethics, it is already derived from the Greek word, that is ethos. It means character. Here we are going to consider the meaning of character in a broad way. We are not going to consider it as just character of a particular person. So ethics means we are going to see what is right we should do and what is wrong we should not do. That is called as ethics. So in simple words we can say ethics are the moral principles of right and wrong. Now research ethics. What is the meaning of or what is the role of ethics in the research? Actually in every profession there are some kind of ethics and we used to call it as a code of conduct. Now research ethics plays very important in the research. Why? Because whenever a researcher is going to carry out the process of research, that research process should not be harmful to the society from any angle. For that purpose, the researcher must know all the ethics before he is going to start with the research process. Now we can define the research ethics as it is a diverse set of values, norms, and institutional regulation that helps to constitute and regulate the specific activity. So ethics consist of some kind of values, norms and institutional regulations which every researcher must know before he is going to start. So we can say ethics are the principle or the guidelines that helps to uphold the things we value. And in short, we can say research ethics is a set of guidelines that helps the researcher to conduct that research successfully. So this is the general background regarding the ethics. Now we are going to study what are the good ethics, means ethical guidelines we should follow, and what are the misconducts into the ethics that we should not follow. We are going to see both the parts. First, we will see the research ethical principles. Total, there are 12 research ethical principles that every researcher must follow it. First is that honesty. That researcher should be very honest with his research work in reporting the data, results, methods, procedures and publication status. So these are the few examples of the research process I have given, but a researcher should be faithful or should be honest with all the research aspects. Actually this honesty ethical principle is useful for every person in every field. It is not just for the research ethics. Then second, that is objectivity. Now what is the objectivity? Why we are preferring the objectivity rather than subjectivity? Because subjectivity was more concerned with the perception of the researcher. There were open-ended questions, multiple answers can be accepted. So there was a scope for the biasness or little bit space for the biasness. So objectivity, why we are preferring it? To avoid that biasness in experimental design, in data analysis interpretation and in the peer review. Means this research process should be crystal clear process. For that we are going to prefer the objectivity. Then third research ethical principle, that is integrity. Means the researcher should act with the sincerity and he should be striving for the consistency of the thoughts and action. So there should be the proper balance between the thoughts and action. There should not be any mismatch between the thoughts and action. That is called as the integrity. Fourth is the carefulness. Means that researcher should be very much careful. He should be very much curious and he should be very much accurate in his research work. Why? to avoid the careless errors and negligence, and proper documentation of all the aspects, so that his research work will be very much accurate with the help of carefulness. Then fifth, that is openness. That researcher should not be the narrow minded one. He should be very much open view of the thinking in sharing the data, results, ideas, tools and resources. Means whenever he is going to collect the information from every source, he should be very much open. He should not have any kind of conservative approach. And next important thing is that openness to the criticism. Means any person, if he is criticizing something, that criticism should be taken by that researcher in a positive way. He should not think that, yeah, this is very much negative impact I am having on my research. He should think positively that how I can improve my research work from that criticism. Means that criticism should be healthy criticism. Then next research ethics, that is respect for the intellectual property. That researcher must respect for every intellectual property. Which are the intellectual properties? Such as patents, copyrights or other form of intellectual property, that we should use with the proper care, proper respect should given to the author. So these are the sixth. Now seventh one, that is confidentiality. Suppose the researcher is going to collect the data from the 100 respondents. So whenever he is going to collect the data from one respondent, that data should not be shared with the another respondent. So complete confidentiality should be maintained with respect to each and every respondent. So in the context of communication, personal records and privacy issue, the confidentiality should be maintained by the researcher. Then eighth one, that is responsible publication. Means whenever a researcher is going to carry out the research, his aim should be to serve the society. Means whenever he is going to publish that research, that responsible publication should be there with the aim of serving the society. And he should avoid the wasteful and duplicative publication. Means whatever research work he is doing, it should be the innovative one. It should not be the repetitive or it should not be the wasteful publication. That's why the responsible publication is one of the important research ethics. Then next is the non-discrimination. So whenever a researcher is dealing with his colleagues or the students, he should not treat anyone on the basis of any kind of discrimination, that is on the basis of either gender or the race or the factors which are not relevant to the scientific competence and integrity. He should only treat everyone on the basis of knowledge only. He should only deal with the subject matter. He should not refer any kind of other things that is on the basis of gender or race or any other factor. So discrimination should be strictly prohibited by the researcher. Then 10th, that is enhancing the competence. So whenever researcher is performing the research, it should be useful to enhance his competence for every professional advancement. Otherwise, there is no meaning in carrying out the research, and it should be the lifelong learning for that particular researcher. Means that researcher approach should become the analytical approach with the help of that research work and taking steps to promote the competence in science as a whole. Means he should use every aspect or everything which is happening into the nature, he should use it on the basis of science. Then ensure the legality. Means there are some kind of legal regulations and some kind of terms and conditions which are done by the institution and government policy. So every researcher must follow that all the process of obeying the relevant laws, that is institutional and government policies. Okay. Then last one, that is animal care through the proper experimental design. Means whenever a researcher is involving any kind of animals into his research work, he should treat that animal with proper care and respect. There should not be any harm to that animal. So the animal care should be taken throughout the proper experimental design. So these are the 12 research ethical principles that must follow by the researcher. Now we have to see the research misconducts. What is the meaning of misconducts? Means this is the wrong behavior. It should be avoided by every researcher. Here there are 3 research misconducts we are going to study. First is the fabrication. Fabrication means making up the data or the results. Means suppose any researcher is going to collect the data from the respondents in the form of questionnaire. So he has to give that questionnaire to the every respondent. Instead of that, what he is doing, he is not giving that questionnaire to the respondent, and he is going to fill up that questionnaire by himself only as he wants, and he is presenting the data. So such kind of behavior is called as the fabrication. Then second, that is called as the falsification. Now we need to understand how the falsification is different from the fabrication. In the case of fabrication, completely making up the data, and in the case of falsification, we are going to manipulate the data to some extent. Means we are not going to steal the data completely from anywhere. Here we are going to manipulate the research material either by changing or the omitting the data. And what is going to happen because of that? The research is not accurately presented in the research record. Means the originality of the research material is not presented into that record. So these are the 2 research misconducts, fabrication and falsification. And third, that is called as plagiarism. What is the meaning of plagiarism? When we are going to take the help of any literature, we should give that references into the reference and bibliography section. But if it is not happening by the researcher, if that researcher is stealing the information from other author, then that kind of act is called as the plagiarism. The inappropriate of another person's ideas, results, words without giving the appropriate credit. Means that author is not giving the proper credit to the original author. Here we are going to have the 4 types of plagiarism. This is very important from exam point of view. You should know which are the types of plagiarism. First is the direct plagiarism. Direct plagiarism means what? Directly you are going to copy paste the information from other sources. That is called as the direct plagiarism. Then second, that is self plagiarism. Self plagiarism means what? Suppose few months back I have presented any research paper, then into the today's generation, into the present time, I am going to use the same material which I have used earlier or which I have published earlier. Then that kind of plagiarism is called as the self plagiarism. Means I am using or I am stealing my own material which is used earlier. Then third is the paraphrasing plagiarism. Paraphrasing means what? It is just the rearrangement. Means I am going to steal the complete data from the another author, and to avoid that plagiarism or it should not be come into the focus, for that purpose I am going to make the some kind of rearrangement. That rearrangement is called as the paraphrasing plagiarism. And third is the mosaic, fourth is the mosaic plagiarism. Mosaic plagiarism means we can say it is a kind of patchwork. Means I am going to prepare my research material and I am going to use some kind of patches from the another author. So that patchwork is called as the mosaic plagiarism. So these are the 4 types of plagiarism. And one more important thing in this research misconducts, that is, this research misconduct doesn't include the honest error. Means the error, if it is happening by the researcher by unknowing intention, means he is not doing it with the proper intention, then that kind of error is not included into the research misconducts. So these are the 3 research misconducts we have seen. Question can be asked either from the research ethics or from the research misconducts. So from the question point of view, you are going to remember the 12 research ethics and 3 research misconducts. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any question, you can ask into the comment box. With this video, we have completed all the topics from the research aptitude. So in the next video, we will be discussing MCQs on the research aptitude. Till then, stay with us.